Have you ever paused to consider why, despite your best efforts, eating well, perhaps exercising, and feeling like you're doing everything right, your legs still feel a persistent weakness? Why do those familiar steps suddenly seem steeper? That simple act of rising from a chair now takes a noticeable extra moment. Is this simply the inevitable march of time? Or could there be another, more subtle factor quietly undermining your strength? You might be surprised to learn that it's not always about what you're not doing. In fact, you might be engaging in a seemingly healthy habit day after day with complete confidence, believing you're making a sound choice, simply because you've been told throughout your life that fruits are inherently good, natural, and beneficial. But here's the reality that often goes unmentioned. Not every fruit is universally suitable, especially as we age. In fact, certain fruits, the very ones we often consume without a second thought, week after week, can subtly contribute to weakening legs, exacerbating knee pain, inflaming joints, and making the simple act of walking more challenging. Fruits that are widely promoted as health-boosting may, in actuality, be quietly detrimental to your mobility, your balance, and the fundamental strength of your legs. You see, as the years pass, our bodies undergo natural changes. Our circulation may become less robust. Our metabolism tends to slow down, and the very foods that once nourished us can now, in subtle ways, begin to work against us. This is particularly true for certain fruits. They might appear innocent, possess a delightful sweetness, yet they harbor significant amounts of acids, carbohydrates, and other compounds that can negatively impact blood sugar regulation, contribute to joint inflammation, and gradually sap the strength from your legs. What's particularly insidious is the gradual and often undetectable nature of this harm. There are no immediate, obvious negative effects. Instead, it infiltrates slowly, subtly, until one day you find yourself experiencing a sharp twinge in your calves, a persistent ache in your thighs, or an unusual tightness in your knees after just a short walk. Today, we're going to unveil the 7 fruits that seniors over the age of 60 should be particularly cautious about, especially if your goal is to protect your legs from long-term damage, persistent pain, and progressive weakening. Despite their seemingly innocuous nature, none of these fruits are truly innocent for aging bodies in large quantities. After understanding this truth, you may never look at your fruit bowl the same way again. So, stay with me until the end if you value your strength and desire to maintain stable, strong, and pain-free legs. Your body might be waiting for this crucial wake-up call. But before we delve into this eye-opening information, if you're concerned about your health and are seeking truths that often go undiscussed, take a moment to click the subscribe button and enable notifications. I'm curious to know if you're with me on this journey. If you're watching now and this introduction resonates with you, type a 1 in the comment section. If not, type a 0. Your voice is more important than you might realize. Let's begin by examining the first fruit on our list. It's often praised for its ability to reduce inflammation, yet for seniors, it might be having the very opposite effect. Let's talk about pineapple. Pineapple, the first fruit, a seemingly innocent gatherer of inflammation. This tropical delight, with its juicy and seemingly revitalizing qualities, has long been celebrated for its bromelain content, a substance touted as a natural anti-inflammatory. However, here's the unexpected twist. While many believe pineapple reduces inflammation, for seniors, it can be a quiet contributor. Pineapple is rich in strong acids and natural sugars. Furthermore, these sugars, while naturally occurring, aren't as harmless as they might seem, particularly for those over the age of 60. As we age, our blood vessels naturally become more delicate and sensitive. They don't respond to rapid increases in blood sugar in the same way they once did. Despite its purported benefits, pineapple delivers a significant dose of natural sugar directly into the bloodstream. What happens then? It causes a rapid spike in blood sugar levels. The small blood vessels that supply your legs, feet, and muscles can sustain microdamage as a result of these frequent spikes. Over time, as circulation naturally deteriorates, less oxygen and fewer nutrients reach your lower limbs. And what does this often lead to? Pain, a persistent feeling of exhaustion in your legs after only a short walk. That dull, dragging ache that seems to settle in, stiffness in your knees, and even sudden, unexplained pain in your ankles, even after periods of rest. But there's more. Pineapple is also quite acidic. This acidity can directly irritate your joints, especially if you already have underlying inflammation or arthritis. It acts like fuel on an existing fire, exacerbating the burning sensation in your ankles, hips, and knees. Some seniors even report a feeling of heaviness in their legs after consuming pineapple, as if their strength is gradually being leached away. There's another crucial point to consider. If you're currently taking any medications, particularly blood thinners, the well-known enzyme bromelain found in pineapple can interact with certain drugs, potentially making them either excessively potent or insufficiently effective. Perhaps the most insidious aspect of all is this. The negative effects of pineapple on aging legs are often not immediate or obvious. There are no sudden, sharp pains or clear warning signs. Instead, the damage often occurs gradually, subtly, until you eventually realize that your mobility is not what it once was. And the truly disheartening part? Many seniors are unaware that this seemingly healthy fruit they consume may be contributing to the very weakness they are experiencing in their legs year after year. So what can you do? It's not about banishing pineapple entirely, but about being aware and exercising moderation, especially if you've been experiencing persistent leg pain or unexplained swelling. The harm can be subtle, but it is indeed real. Now, if a fruit with anti-inflammatory properties like pineapple can be so problematic for aging legs, what about the next one? It's soft, it's sweet, and it's widely known for its potassium content and supposed muscle benefits. However, it might be subtly deceiving you. Let's discuss bananas. Bananas, the second fruit, a potential imposter for muscle health. Soft, sweet, and packed with potassium, bananas are often lauded as a great source of energy, a way to prevent cramps, and a boon for muscle health. However, the picture is different for seniors. Bananas are abundant in natural sugars and rapidly digestible carbohydrates. This means that shortly after consumption, your blood sugar levels experience a quick rise, and your body begins to release insulin. When this happens frequently, it can contribute to insulin resistance, impairing circulation and increasing inflammation throughout the body, including your legs. You might start to notice a dull soreness when walking or climbing stairs, a heavy feeling in your legs after meals, and stiffness in your calves. And the story doesn't end there. Bananas can also contribute to fluid retention, especially if you have underlying heart conditions. This can manifest as stiff joints, swollen feet, and swollen ankles. The effect is often silent. You consume them believing they will help your muscles, while they might be gradually contributing to a decline in your strength. The most concerning aspect is that the impact isn't immediate, but over time, regularly eating bananas might make mobility more difficult and pain more prevalent. If you frequently experience heavy, aching, or swollen legs, it might be time to reconsider just how friendly bananas truly are for your aging body. What if something even smaller could have a similar impact? Bananas, often associated with muscle support, are relatively substantial. But what about something small, seemingly charming and innocuous, that could be contributing to a burning sensation in your joints? Let's discuss grapes, the third fruit. Grapes, little fruits with a potentially significant inflammatory effect. These tiny, juicy, and easy-to-eat snacks often come with a stellar reputation. Heart-healthy, packed with antioxidants. However, what many people, especially seniors, are unaware of is their potential to contribute to mild leg pain, stiffness, and inflammation. Why? Because grapes contain fructose, a type of sugar that can be particularly problematic in higher concentrations. Fructose is absorbed directly by the liver, and when the liver is overwhelmed, it can be converted into fat and uric acid. It's the accumulation of uric acid, particularly in the toes, ankles, and knees, that can trigger intermittent burning, swelling, and that nagging ache that makes even light walking uncomfortable. Have you ever experienced that sudden, sharp pain in your big toe at night, or that unexpected stiffness in your calves? It could be something as seemingly benign as a handful of grapes causing your uric acid levels to rise. Furthermore, the high fructose content can also fuel chronic inflammation throughout your body, leading to slower movement, increased pressure, and overall stiffness. Grapes are also deceptively easy to overindulge in. Their small size makes them easy to nibble on, and before you realize it, you might have consumed 2 or 3 cups, leading to a significant sugar load. Therefore, while grapes might seem like a nutritious snack, they can subtly contribute to weakening legs, reduce flexibility, and increase discomfort as you age. Now you know what might be hiding behind that sweet, seemingly innocent exterior. If you've been a regular grape consumer and have noticed increasing stiffness and swelling in your legs, it might be time to reconsider your intake. However, grapes aren't the only seemingly healthy fruit that can pose a problem. Another is luscious, vibrant, and renowned for its hydrating properties. Don't be fooled, though. On the inside, despite tasting like water, it can act like pure sugar. Let's discuss watermelon, the 4th fruit. Watermelon, the bogus hydrator. Light, refreshing, and often seen as the epitome of hydration and summer goodness. Could this watery fruit be subtly damaging your legs? It might seem counterintuitive, as everyone agrees that watermelon is a great way to stay hydrated. It feels safe, has few calories, and is primarily water. However, here's the hidden truth. Watermelon has a surprisingly high glycemic index. This means that it can cause a rapid spike in blood sugar levels, much like candy. And these frequent sugar spikes can be particularly harmful to seniors, especially concerning their legs. When your blood sugar levels rise quickly, your body releases insulin. However, insulin regulation can become less efficient in aging bodies. This can lead to inflammation, particularly in areas with already compromised circulation, often the legs, ankles, and feet. You might experience leg tiredness shortly after eating watermelon, a dull discomfort when taking even short strolls, that strange, persistent swelling around your ankles, and stair climbing can begin to feel like ascending a mountain. Watermelon, with its light and refreshing texture, can be a deceptive trap, gently wearing down your legs. Because it's juicy and refreshing, many people consume it in large quantities. A single slice becomes 2, then 3, leading to more sugar, more stress on your system, and increased inflammation. It's misleading. You believe you're primarily consuming water. While your blood sugar is spiking, your circulation is struggling, and your legs are suffering as a result. Does watermelon truly help seniors stay hydrated? Or does each mouthful subtly increase the discomfort of movement? If the watermelon on your plate is a frequent occurrence and your legs have been feeling increasingly fatigued, it might be time for a reevaluation. Let's move on to a fruit often associated with vitamin C and overall health, found in juices, immunity-boosting drinks, and breakfast spreads. However, for seniors, it can be an acidic assault on their joints. Let's discuss oranges, the 5th fruit. Oranges, the acid attack on joints. Bright, fragrant, and seemingly ubiquitous in juices, health supplements, and breakfast platters. Oranges are often touted for their immunity-boosting vitamin C content. However, for seniors, particularly those over 60, oranges might be concealing an unpleasant reality: acid, which your joints often dislike. Citrus fruits, including oranges, are naturally high in citric acid. While this might seem normal, it can contribute to quiet joint irritation, especially if your body is already battling inflammation, stiffness, or arthritis. You might begin to notice a gradual stiffness in your knees upon waking, persistent hip pain, that uncomfortable, heavy sensation in your legs after prolonged sitting, decreased overall mobility, and increased swelling. You might attribute this simply to aging, but that seemingly healthy habit of drinking orange juice every morning could be contributing to the very pain you're trying to prevent. Here's what can happen. The citric acid from oranges doesn't just stay in your stomach. It enters your bloodstream and can exacerbate the delicate tissues in your joints. Furthermore, when combined with the fruit's natural sugars, it can lead to fluctuations in blood sugar levels, further fueling inflammation throughout the body. With each step, your legs might feel a little heavier, a little more painful, as inflammation spreads to your knees ankles, and calves. You see, while oranges might be harmless for a younger individual, the effect can build subtly in an elderly person with aging joints and slower circulation. The most challenging aspect is that you're engaging in this habit with the belief that you're benefiting yourself, as oranges have long been associated with wellness. However, you now know that they might not be so kind to your aging legs. What comes next? The following fruit has a seemingly virtuous appearance: green, crisp, and often perceived as lower in sugar, making it seem like the safe option. However, it can harbor something that might lead to nighttime cramping, tight knees, and aching hips. Let's discuss green apples, the sixth fruit. Green apples, a seemingly innocent cause of leg pain. Crisp, clean, and often labeled as organic, green apples are frequently perceived, especially by seniors, as the healthier option due to their less sweet taste. They seem like a guilt-free, low-sugar snack. However, what many are unaware of is their potential to subtly contribute to weariness, stiffness, and pain in the legs. The two primary culprits are malic acid and their hidden natural sugar content. First, let's consider malic acid. This is the acid that gives green apples their characteristic tartness. While it can be beneficial for younger individuals, it can be less kind to aging digestion. As we age, the lining of our gut can become more sensitive, and malic acid can be irritating to tissues throughout the body, including the joints. After consuming green apples, some seniors report experiencing significant pain in their hips or thighs, while others might notice a mild burning sensation in their feet or a tightening feeling in their knees. The effect might not be immediate or dramatic, but over time, the cumulative effect of this acid can contribute to increased frequency and intensity of joint discomfort. Now, let's consider the sugar. While green apples might not taste as sweet as their red counterparts, they still contain natural sugars. For seniors with a naturally slower metabolism, this sugar can still lead to fluctuations in blood sugar levels. This can manifest as tired calves, nighttime leg cramps, morning stiffness, or feeling of weakness when attempting to ascend stairs. The particularly challenging aspect is that green apples are often consumed raw, as a quick snack, or even close to bedtime. This constant exposure can subtly make walking more difficult, stiffen joints, and contribute to more restless evenings for aging bodies. What about a fruit that is tropical, rich, and undeniably sweet? If a fruit as seemingly basic as a green apple can have these effects, what about one that is adored by many for its deliciousness? Let's discuss the true sugar bomb, the mango, the seventh fruit. Mango, a sugar explosion for your joints. Juicy, soft, and almost candy-like in its sweetness, mangoes are a favorite for many, particularly during the warmer months. However, the truth is that mangoes can be one of the most problematic fruits for seniors who already experience joint weakness and leg pain. The primary reason? Their incredibly high natural sugar content. And I'm not talking about a little sugar. I'm referring to a significant sugar punch that can cause a rapid and substantial spike in your blood sugar levels. While a younger, more active body might be able to handle this surge, after the age of 60, your metabolism naturally slows down. This sugar rush leads to a significant insulin spike followed by a subsequent crash. Each time this occurs, it can trigger inflammation deep within your joints, particularly in the soft tissues surrounding your ankles, hips, and knees. If you also have any underlying nerve issues, this inflammation and blood sugar instability can manifest as a burning sensation in your toes, a persistent tingling that doesn't seem to go away, swelling around your feet in the evenings, or a creeping feeling of heaviness in your legs. Because mangoes taste light, feel refreshing, and don't seem like a heavy meal, it's easy to consume them in larger portions, which only exacerbates the problem. That's the deceptive nature of this fruit. Its light texture belies its significant impact on blood sugar and inflammation. Over time, this can contribute to persistent joint pain, sluggish walking, and unsteady legs. Many elderly individuals consume mangoes because they perceive them as a natural and delightful treat. While they're natural doesn't always equate to safety for aging joints and potentially compromised circulation. Now you've seen the full picture. Despite their widely touted health benefits, these 7 fruits can have a less desirable side for individuals over 60. But here's the good news. There are fruits that have the opposite effect. They can support strong, sturdy legs, reduce joint pain, and combat inflammation. Next, let's explore these therapeutic alternatives. What seniors should be eating instead. Now that you're aware of which fruits to approach with caution, let's shift our focus to what you can eat. Because choosing the right fruits does more than just satisfy your appetite. It can actively contribute to healing and well-being within your body. First, let's talk about berries, blackberries, raspberries, blueberries, and strawberries. These little powerhouses are potent anti-inflammatory agents. They are relatively gentle on your blood sugar, packed with antioxidants, and generally lower in sugar compared to the fruits we just discussed. Crucially, they can help improve circulation, particularly in the legs, promoting easier mobility, combating stiffness, and reducing swelling. Next, consider cherries, consumed in moderation. Cherries have been shown to help reduce uric acid levels in the body, which can lower the likelihood of gout attacks and other forms of joint pain flare-ups. A small handful of cherries, not an excessive amount, can provide noticeable relief from sore joints and that burning sensation in your knees or toes. Then there's the avocado. Yes, it's a fruit, and it's one of the best for supporting healthy joints. Why? Because it's rich in healthy fats that have significant anti-inflammatory properties within the body and can help cushion your joints. Additionally, avocados can aid in regulating insulin levels, providing a more stable source of energy without the dramatic blood sugar spikes that can contribute to inflammation and leg discomfort. If you're looking for a fruit that's easy on the digestive system, try papaya. This tender tropical fruit contains enzymes that can help reduce inflammation and facilitate digestion. It's generally gentle on aging joints and mild on the stomach, making it a good choice for those with digestive sensitivities. Finally, consider pears, enjoyed in moderation and ideally paired with a small amount of fiber or protein. They offer a subtle sweetness without being overly sugary and can provide sustained energy without putting undue stress on your blood sugar levels or contributing to leg discomfort. Each of these fruits works with your body, supporting its natural processes rather than potentially hindering them. They are less likely to cause inflammation, dramatic blood sugar fluctuations, or fluid retention that can contribute to leg pain and weakness. By making conscious choices to include these beneficial fruits in your diet, you can actively contribute to greater vigor, improved balance, and a sense of serenity within your body. It's not just about eating fruit. It's about choosing the right fruits for your age and your body's current needs. When you make these mindful decisions, you may begin to notice firmer steps, calmer movements, and clearer, less painful mornings. Let's conclude with some important final thoughts, words of encouragement, and a message specifically for you. If you've stayed with me this far, it tells me that you're genuinely concerned about your future, your strength, and your health. And I want you to hear this clearly. It is not too late to make positive changes. You still have time to regain ground, and you're certainly not alone in experiencing the challenges of aging. The aches, the stiffness, and the fear of falling can creep in gradually, sometimes making it feel like your body is slowly letting you down. But here's the empowering truth. You can take charge by making sensible, gradual adjustments rather than drastic overhauls. One meal, one fruit choice, one mindful decision at a time. While the fruits we discussed earlier aren't inherently bad, they might no longer be the most supportive choices for your specific health needs as you age. And that's perfectly all right. Getting older isn't about giving up. It's about becoming more informed and making smarter choices. As you begin to eat more mindfully, selecting foods that promote strength, healthy circulation, and comfortable joints, you may start to notice a real difference. Less discomfort, greater flexibility, smoother mornings, and lighter steps. That is the true aim of this information. Not to instill fear or create limitations, but to empower you with knowledge. Now, I'd like to hear from you. Tell us in the comments section below what you've learned today and what small change you feel ready to make in your diet. Because when we share our insights and intentions, we all grow stronger together. Let's support one another on this journey. If you found this video helpful, or if it even slightly opened your eyes to a new perspective on fruit and your leg health, please hit the like button. Click subscribe to ensure you don't miss any future information that could positively impact your well-being. And before you go, please type a 1 in the comments if this video resonated with you and provided valuable information. If not, type a 0. Your feedback is invaluable. Stay resilient, stay observant of your body's signals, and never forget that your independence is carried by your legs.